If you're juggling too many marketing platforms, podcasting, social media, Pinterest, blogging, and you're wondering if any of your marketing is actually working, this episode is for you. Welcome to your Mind Shift. I am your host, Daryl Evans. Leah Bryant, a good friend of mine and a member of the Mind Shift community, has a great business. But like many entrepreneurs and business owners who run a small operation, she's stretched thin. She's got a lot of things to do. She does a lot of marketing. She's got a great product, got a great service, but like many, runs into a little bit of a trap. When new clients start coming in and the business starts to take off, the marketing kind of suffers. So, in this particular episode, I want to speak directly to some of the questions that she had for me about helping her address how to handle the balancing act between running the business and doing the work and actually doing the marketing that matters that could be a bit more streamlined to get her better results. Now, when you're watching this video, if you want to have the opportunity to ask your questions and get strategy and get advice and get some of our frameworks applied to your business, we'd love for you to head over to mindshiftcommunity.com, join for free, and you'll have an opportunity to join us in our next live workshop. Having been an entrepreneur now for 35 years and having started 4 businesses by myself and kept them very small as a solo practitioner, I know exactly what Lee is going through. And if you're on the other side of this video and you're a sole practitioner as well, I think this is going to be helpful for you. There's one very important key that I like to always remember from my days when I just didn't have a lot of money. I was starting on my own. In fact, many of you know the story. I was living on my grandmother's couch out of 2 bags of clothes when I launched what would end up being a multiple $1 million marketing campaign over the years from the back of a $300 direct mail campaign. This mindset that I learned through and grew through is what we still operate with today with some of our smaller business owners who are working with us at the agency or inside of the Mindshift Inner Circle. And this mindset is what we call the lean growth method. The lean growth method really helps Leah and many of you who are out trying to do all of the things stop doing all of the things. And look, I get it. When you look around, you see people on Instagram, they tell you got to post 4 times a day. You look around on YouTube, someone's telling you got to post 3 videos over on YouTube. If you're in the Pinterest world, Pinterest is now deemed an SEO platform. So there's a lot of people touting that you can get discovered on Pinterest. I'm not saying any of it is wrong, but when I walk through this lean growth method, I hope Leah, my friend, good friend, longtime friend, and you on the other side of this video can just relax a little bit, ease up the pressure a little bit, and then start to simplify what you're thinking about on a regular basis. Now, I'm going to put myself into your shoes for just a moment, and I want you to just imagine I was living on my grandmother's couch. I had 2 duffel bags of clothes, a few $100s to my name. I had constraints. And I want you to think about it right now. See, today, if you're walking around with a mobile device, you don't have a constraint. If you have an account on ChatGPT, you don't have a constraint. If you have a website and a social media platform and a Wi Fi connection, you don't have any constraints. But what I'm asking you to consider, hear me clearly, is I need you to place constraints on your thinking and on your process. But how do you do it, Daryl? Okay, I'll believe that I got to stop doing all this stuff. So let me walk you through what you should do, why you should do it, and when you should do it. Step 1. The first thing you do is you identify the number 1 type of buyer you want to reach. Not all of the buyers that you want to reach, just figure out 1 buyer that you want to reach. So if I think back to 25 years ago when I'm living on my grandmother's couch, I had to figure out just this 1 type of buyer that I could go after, largely because I'd had constraints. I'm asking you, even though you don't have constraints, to give yourself some constraints. And I promise you it's going to serve you. Who is the 1 buyer, Leah, that you could work with? As a podcast production company, you could be working with a CEO. You could be working with a founder. You could be working with a course creator. You could be working with an influencer. You could be working with a local business who needs to grow their brand through their voice of a podcast. What I want you to do, and if you haven't done it already, and I know you've done some of this work because we've coached together, but I want you to go back and think, who is the most likely person who could benefit from launching, starting, and growing and building a podcast that will have the best business impact? The reason why I say that is you don't just want any buyer who wants to do a podcast or start a podcast and I know a bit about your business, you want someone who knows that a podcast is integral to the growth of their business. And you might say, well, some people don't believe that a podcast is integral to the growth of their business. We can cover that in step 2 and step 3 in just a moment. So, step 1, for any of you listening, Leah, my friend, pick that one buyer. Go back and look at your buyer personas. Pick the one that's been most profitable over the years. Figure out the ones that you know are interested or could benefit from. And then we'll move on to step 2. Step 2 in the lean growth method says that we want to find one place that they're hanging out online, not 4. We have to figure out where that one person is spending the most time. That place might be LinkedIn. That place might be Pinterest. That place might be that they're Googling. That place might be that they're in Snapchat. Who knows where that is? But our job is to figure out where they're most likely to be the majority of the time so that you can just show up there. The one thing about publishing online today is all of the tools let us distribute and repurpose everywhere. And the problem is it's okay in theory, but there is a bit of a weight or a pressure when you have all of these accounts and you're trying to publish all over the internet. Look, I'm guilty sitting in this chair, speaking to you through this camera, transparently, that I feel the same pressure too. But you want to pick this one place. For example, YouTube, for example, LinkedIn, wherever that buyer might be hanging out, and you shut off the possibility that they're anywhere else. And you need to run a campaign to prove whether they're there or whether they're not. Okay? So step 1, pick that one buyer. Step 2, pick that one place, that one traffic source where you're going to get visible to these people on. Step 3, you create one simple, compelling reason that they would want to come into your world. The world of marketing calls it a lead magnet. I personally don't like the phrase. So I'm going to say create one signal of interest that would get that person to stop what they're doing wherever they are and just take a step forward digitally or otherwise. That doesn't mean they're ready to buy, but gets them interested in seeing more, hearing more, or learning more. And that can be done through all kinds of things, whether it's a checklist, worksheet, PDF, webinar, video series, email sequence. And Leah, if I'm not mistaken, I think you just recently launched a podcast. So it could be that your podcast is the number one best step. Okay, so step number 3 is pick this one invitation for them to come step forward. So find the right person, find out where they're hanging out, and then stay very regimented to this one invitation. If I back this out at Mindshift Digital for the last 14 years, 15 years, when we were Yokel Local into now, our number one asset, our number one invitation is for people to download our 6-pillar framework. It is the number one converter on our website. It's the number one thing we've talked about and promoted over the last X number of years. And I think we've consistently used that one asset since 2016 or 17. You don't need 1,000 lead magnets. And I'm not sure that you have that many. I'm just saying, pick that one lead magnet. Step 4. Once they take the invitation to download your resource guide, your lead magnet, whatever it is, we'll keep to the word lead magnet. Now the question is a game of timing, because many of you know that the next step is you could have the right person with the right problem who has the right purchase power, but they just don't have the right timing. And that timing has nothing to do with your offer, has nothing to do with your invitation. It has nothing to do with your price. It has everything to do with their personal motivation and whether or not they've had a triggering event that's going to pull them across the line. It isn't your sales process. It isn't your sales flow. It isn't your script. Sometimes it's a matter of timing. And one of my mentors many, many years ago said there's 2 times people will buy: now or later. And the fact is, most people are going to buy later, unless their water heater is blowing up and they got water everywhere, unless they've got a toothache and their tooth is killing them. Most businesses that are not emergency service businesses, you just need to understand that people are going to buy later, and you need to orchestrate a process. What does that look like? That looks like retargeting ads. That looks like email nurturing sequences, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to get too knee deep there, but that's step 4 in the lean growth method. Step 5, which is the last part of the lean growth method, which really practical for this. Step 6 is a technology step, but step 5 is to make sure that you have just one single solitary clear offer. And Leah, I do believe you have done a phenomenal job in that area. I think you've got a couple of packages, but it's very clear on your website. It's very clear if someone's interested, how they're going to engage. The one thing I might say, and this is about today's buyer as it relates to where we are with ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude and accessibility to information, I think that professional service companies like yours and those of you listening, I do think we're hitting a place where we are going to be called to more transparency of price, very much like retail companies are. I don't think today's buyer, especially B2B, I don't think buyers are going to tolerate these walls where we have to call and book a meeting and wait 2 or 3 days to find out the price. In fact, I found out in my agency that ChatGPT already knows the range of our service prices. And I don't know where they got it from, quite honestly, but because I didn't tell ChatGPT, but I do think we're hitting another place. So it's step 5. It's clarifying that one product package that's going to be the launch pad, the easy thing for them to say yes to. And maybe it isn't your big kit and caboodle. It's not the big thing that you want to sell, but it's that low point of entry for someone to come into your world and do what we say in marketing, which is we should be marketing to acquire customers, not just marketing to acquire leads. And that's a simple distinction. But anyway, Leah, listen, I know your heart for your business. I know the work that you put in, the quality of your work is phenomenal. And I hope that some of this, you've probably heard me say some of this at some point in the future, in the past, but I really want to emphasize that you don't have to do all the things. I know that that's where the latest talk is out there in the world, but sometimes it's just as simple as who's this one buyer I can focus on for the next 90 days? Where's this place where that one buyer, I'm guaranteed to find that person and I can run ads to that person? By the way, I think ads are more efficient than any other content marketing energy today. I'm not saying content marketing is bad, it just takes more time. I'm shooting a video right now. It takes time. It takes more money. I've got to hire an editor. He's sitting behind the camera. He's the producer of this thing. It takes him time to get this film done. Content marketing takes time. I'd rather see you create 3 short videos, put them in a Facebook ad campaign, use the $1 a day ad strategy, put the lead magnet in our core methodology framework, which you have access to, I believe, and then get the leads coming in at $3, $4, $5, $6, $8, $10 per lead. Put them into that nurturing sequence, present them that one invitation, because if you've done that properly and you know that problem that they want to solve, you're going to start to see better conversions, even when you are tied up with client work. So I hope, Leah, that you got some value out of this. By the way, if you have any further questions, you know how to reach us. If you're on the other side watching this video and you find yourself in Leah's situation, do me a favor. Don't be overwhelmed. Don't feel like you got to do all the things. Let's simplify. It does seem to be the order of the day where everyone seems to be overwhelmed and tired trying to do all of these things. I want to assure you, hear me clearly, you don't have to be on all the platforms. You don't have to publish 7 times a day. You don't have to publish a blog and 17 Instagram reels and 32 stories. You don't have to be on Snapchat if you want to. Just stop all that conversation in your head. Stick to the lean growth method. And for those of you watching, we give away the lean growth method inside the Mindshift community for free. So click a link somewhere around this video if you want to have access to that. And if you would like to consider coming into the inner circle, we'll tell you how to do that after you download the lean growth method replay. And if you're further along and you might want some agency support to take your business to the next level, then there's a link down below to contact the agency, and we'll take you through our growth diagnostic process, see where you sit, help you get some clarity, show you a path to your next level of growth. And if you've made it this far, thank you for honoring me with your time. Hit the like, hit the follow button, subscribe button, so you never miss another episode. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And if you got a question, I'll take that too. I'll see you next time. Take care.